you want to perform your logging or else from response time getting for that particular object, you specify that details to this join point. Means like there that point means like method name we specify to that. Here the point cut is the expression whatever we pass.
So coming to Spring Boot, what is the role of actuator in Spring
Uh,
Boot?
the role of the actuator is like you want to get some metrics, means like health information and all. We can make use of the actuators endpoints, and we can get the details like CPU utilization, how many beans has been registered, like this kind of information we can get it using the actuators.
So how can you disable actuator endpoints accurate in Spring Boot?
We can make use of like specifying the management endpoints, whatever we are specifying. We need to just remove all the management endpoints, or else we can directly use the at the rate Spring Boot application where we are using. We need to specify the exclude command there, and we need to specify the management endpoints related class name so that it excludes that.
So how will you reload your changes on Spring Boot application without restarting your server?
Here we need to configure the dev tools for that, so that whenever we change something, it automatically reloads the data.
So which build tool have you used to develop Spring Boot applications?
We use the Maven and both Gradle.
Okay. So how can you enable HTTP or SSL support in Spring Boot? Did you ever do that?
SSL support. We can
Enabling HTTP.
do it using the two ways by configuring it in the Spring Boot class directly in the application context. We can create and get that. We can configure it that through that, or else we can define it in the application dot properties. We need to specify the SSL properties details there.
Mhm. So have you implemented Swagger in Spring Boot?
Yeah, yes.
So what are Spring profiles?
The Spring profiles are
Will
like dev
Mhm.
QA and UAT. You whenever you do some kind of you specify specific properties to specific environment. So we use this Spring profiles, stating that when we deploy the application into the dev environment, make use of the dev properties. So through this we set the properties for that particular environment.
So do you have experience on CICD tools like Jenkins,
Yeah,
build?
yes.
Did you configure Jenkins or you just
Means like in the dev environment we can configure. We have done it twice. Like we did not get much chance. Previously it used to be done by the DevOps team. Recently they have given access to dev team as well to do the changes. But in the QA and UAT it will be done by the DevOps team.
so did you set up Jenkins jobs anytime?
Uh, till now I didn't do it. But we need to, whenever we create a Jenkins job, we need to first select which kind of application you are trying to configure, whether it's a Maven or a Gradle project. So you need to first select that. Then once we select that, we need to give the repo details for that. Means like from which location you are trying to get your data. And we also need to configure the details like whether you are trying to build your Jenkins pipeline every time whenever you give the build, or else based on manual triggering we need to specify that kind of details there. And apart from that we if we have any other integrations like sonar and all, we need to give that details, and we need to enable the notifications for that.
Okay, fine. So whenever you see a like broken build or a failed build for your project in Jenkins, so what will be the next step you will be
First
doing?
thing is like we will be checking the logs here. Why does the build got failed? If it's a compilation, or else if it's any other, means like if we could able to find that details in the logs, then we'll be try to resolve. Like if the issue is from the dev dev perspective, or else from the dev team, then we'll be fixing it by checking the logs. If not, we'll be contacting the DevOps team to check what makes the build fail.
So what is the version control system? Which version control system?
Bitbucket we are using here.
How about Git? Have you worked on Git?
Yeah, means like Git we will be using Git commands you will be using to push that data into the Bitbucket, right? I did not use the SVN. I use the Git commands to push that data into the push or fetch.
Mm, So, mm, so do you know the difference between clone and forking and cloning?
Cloning is creating of the existing project. Means like if you had any new project, you'll be cloning that project. Means like whereas fork is like if you are a new user and this project want to be moved into your application, means like your Git location as well, then we'll using this fork to move that data.
So how will you resolve a conflict in Git?
Here means like first we will be whenever we try to push the data, if already a particular person has pushed that data and if we get this some merge conflicts, we try to resolve that merge conflicts initially, like where we are getting the conflicts and all. So whenever you fetch that, whenever you use the checkout command, and during that time all your merge conflicts will be shown in the particular files. So we'll try to resolve them, and we use the merge command again to merge the data of both, and
So how
through
will you
this
fix your broken commit or to change the last commit? How will you do that?
we need to find first what is the last commit ID. Using that commit ID we can revoke the last commit changes, and then we'll push the new changes into that.
1 second. So coming to like, have you worked on JUnits? Did you write JUnits?
Yeah, yes.
Have you used Mockito framework? Which
Yes,
framework have you used?
Mockito.
Okay, so can you tell me what is the need for mocking?
See, whenever you have a controller layer and you have the service, you'll be using your service injection there. So to inject your objects, we'll be using this mock @mock annotation to mock that particular dependencies whatever we are specifying for the class, and then we use the inject mock to inject that mocks into this class. So whenever you run this service, what it happens is like whenever it come across these uh, dependencies, it use of the mock objects instead of those objects.
So are there any limitations with the Mockito framework?
We had the limitations, like we cannot test the static blocks, we cannot test the new, whenever create the new objects, we cannot test them. We need to use the power mock in that situation to
So
test
how
this kind of.
how can we ignore or avoid executing set of tests like that?
We need to
Okay, okay.
specify the test suite for that, and whatever the test classes which you are trying to run, we need to just specify those class names so that it avoids the other classes.
Mhm. So what are the different methods of exception handling in JUnits? Like how
Different.
in, yeah, I mean, how can you, in how many different ways can you, okay.
Here we can make use of means like handling of the exception in the JUnit, or else to find
Yeah,
the what kind of exception
handling,
we are getting.
handling like different methods of exception handling JUnits.
We need to specify at the rate test, and we need to specify what kind of exception we are trying to get. So we need to we can make use of that in the previous JUnit 4. Right now we can make use of like asset throws, and we need to specify what kind of exception it is going to throw, and we need to specify that as annotation as exception class name, and then we need to use the lambda expression here and execute that function so that it throws.
What are parameterized tests?
Parameterized test is like whenever you want to perform the multiple kind of set of data, means like if you want to specify the group of strings, and you want to perform the conditions on that particular method, you want to pass all kind of tests to that. So we make use of this parameterized test, and we specify all kind of test cases there so that it execute at once, all of them.
So coming to microservices, can you tell me like how will you handle any service failures if there are multiple services in your application, any of the service fails, right?
So here we can make use of the circuit breaker pattern here. We can specify like if there is any kind of alternative approach for that, we need to specify that using the fallback mechanism, so that whenever this particular service get fails, it goes to that alternative service and try to hit and fetch that data. So it will initially check for 2 to 3 times, like whether the service is down. Then it immediately goes to that fallback mechanism again whenever the new request comes. So initially there will be a time frame of 2 to 3 minutes. Like after that, it again comes to this service itself to check the whether the service is up. So it will get the data from that. If not, again it will check for 2 to 3 times and then goes back to this fallback mechanism again.
What is service discovery? How is it helpful in the microservices?
Service discovery, we can make use of the Eureka server here, like to register it as a server as well as the client, so that whatever the clients which we are trying to create will get registered with this Eureka server. So whenever we are trying, we can directly open the Eureka dashboard and check like what are the registered services with the Eureka. So whenever we are trying
How
to
do
perform.
microservices communicate with each other?
Here we can make use of the REST template, or else we can make use of the web client or Fein client for communication between the services.
Okay. So what is the need of containers like in microservice architecture?
Containers are like deploying the applications into that particular instance, means like when it comes to the PCF, we has here the DGO cells, where inside that DGO cell it has an instances like it fetches the which instances which container this application need to be uh, hosted, means like whenever you push that application into the particular PCF environment, it checks for the details like which are the instances are empty, so it get that details and push that into the in that particular instance. I'm not
What is
sh-
an API gate?
API gateway is like it acts as an proxy layer for you. Means like whenever it not only acts as a proxy layer, it also provides you the analytics, which also makes you configure your complete service in the APG as well. Means like you can make use of it as an aggregator pattern as well. Means like it can communicate with multiple services at a time and fetch the data from multiple services. and we can aggregate those results and give back to the client. We can do a number of changes, like we can get the result from
Okay.
one service.
So what is the need for container orchestration? Have you heard about Kubernetes?
That's what I was mean to say, like Docker and Kubernetes I did not work on.
But you have knowledge, right?
Yeah, means like basically Docker we used for creating the Docker images, and we host
Mm.
them onto the Kubernetes container, like pods. So means like I have basic idea, not complete on them. Means like not real time knowledge.
Yeah, yeah, that's fine. So how can you achieve like zero downtime during the deployments, the microservices?
We need to
DevOps.
use, we will be here, we are using the blue-green deployment pattern, so that what it does is like it makes your application be 24 by 7. So initially we'll try to deploy the application onto the green. So if it's well, it is successful, and if it doesn't goes any kind of issues, then we'll just route that details once we have been done with the blue deployment as well. Just the routes will be changed.
So how can we ensure data consistency in the microservice-based architecture?
Data consistency is like if we need to use um, some kind of messaging queues here, so that what it does is like whenever the particular service performs its activity, it updates this service. Means like it pushes its data into this, and if we go with the event-driven architecture, at least we can minimize those things.
Mm. So database, which database have you used?
MySQL means like there is very less interaction for us, because mostly we will be dealing with the third-party decision-making systems like Genesis and the Surveyor. So there will be only insertion and the retrieval part in the MySQL. That too very less.
But you are comfortable, right, on
Yes,
writing
yes,
that
yeah,
query?
yeah, yes,
So did you work on Spring Data JP as well?
yeah, yes.
Mm. Hibernate or JP?
JP I have used.
Mm. So what is an entity? Can you tell me what is an entity in JP?
Entity is like the particular object which you are trying to create, and map it to the any table. Means like uh, entity is nothing but an object actually, which is which you are trying to map it to a table in the
Are there
database.
any rules to create a JP entity classes?
Yeah,
Or is
means
it
like we need to annotate it with @ entity, and then we need to specify the table name using @ table, to which table you are trying to map this entity. So we specify that details, and then we use the column names as for specifying all the
what
columns.
are the generation strategies? Primary
Um,
key generation.
we can make use of the identity, or else we can make use of sequence. There are different kinds of strategies for creating that means like IDs.
Yeah.
We have auto as well.
Coming to AWS, do you have any knowledge on AWS? Or
Um,
do you have?
yeah, yeah. Previously, I used AWS in Cognizant. We have used the EC2 instance. We have used S3 bucket, SNS service. Only these three services I know.
Okay. Okay, just tell in one line like what is S3, why it is used in
Yeah,
GCP.
S3 is for the storage purpose actually. If you have a huge amount of data, basically we go with the S3 to store that.
What is the horizontal and vertical scaling in AWS?
Um, in terms of PCF, I can say I'm not sure about the
Yeah, yeah, that's
AWS.
fine.
The horizontal and the vertical scaling is like if you want to perform increase the resources itself, means like if there is a one resource present, and if that resource has to be increased, means its capacity is only 2 GB and you want to increase its capacity, there which states that it's a horizontal scaling. Actually the vertical scaling is like scaling of the instances, number of instances, if you want to increase 1 2 3. So basically we go with this vertical scaling.
Fine, Rajeshwar, I think I'm done. Do you have any questions?
Means like just want to know, like, is it for completely for the USD global, or else do you
No,
need to
it's
work on
for
the any client?
yeah, it's for one of the client banking domain.
Okay, okay. May I know the client name, please?
Client name is TSYS, Global Payments Bank.
Okay, okay, sure. Yeah. Thank you so much.
What's your total experience?
Total is 6.2.
6.2.
Yeah, yes.
You're from Hyderabad location?
Yeah, yes.
Mm. And Rajeshwar, thanks for your time.
Yeah,
Our
thank you
team
so
will
much.
get back to you.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.